As the first cohort of students completed their vocational GCSEs in the summer of 2004, Ofsted reported a satisfactory start in the qualifications. Teaching is committed and enthusiastic, but Ofsted and others accept that teachers need to take steps to improve their own vocational knowledge.
A lot of centres are very wary about tackling vocational subjects. They're not sure what the vocational has to include, and what they don't realise often is that at the end of the day it is a science GCSE. The actual science is very much the same as any of the other GCSE sciences. It's actually the context in which you're delivering it and the method of assessment, the fact that the students are undertaking 2/3 of their work is coursework and it's not as exam-based.
What clearly distinguishes these new GCSEs from the traditional is teaching inspired and informed by the world of work. But with stringent health and safety laws making it hard to take students into industry for first-hand experience, how can teachers make the vocational element real and relevant? This programme follows Ruth Whitehead, a science teacher in Yorkshire, as she solves this problem by using the many links between business and education to get personal, hands-on experience of modern industry, and then uses these experiences to inform her teaching.
Yeah, and we've all got our... I'm head of science at Hanson School in Bradford, and I've been teaching the vocational GCSE here for 3 years now, so we're in the 3rd year of the course being run. We've found that the students really enjoy the course, they're very enthusiastic about it, and they like the hands-on approach that they get during the practical work. In terms of selection, we've actually looked at a cohort of students where the students have been at quite a good level when verbally assessed in class, but actually when they've done tests, panic a lot. And those type of students, providing that they are quite well motivated, are very good students to bring onto this course.
Well, I like it because it's more based on coursework than it is on the exam. To be honest, I'm not very good at exams because I cave in under pressure. This applied science is really good.
And I'm not very good with revision and stuff, so I think that's what pulls me down in exams. So coursework has helped me to boost my mark and things. So.
Within the GCSE, the major vocational part is the actual pieces of coursework. There's 14 pieces of coursework, and the exam boards stipulate that you should try and include some kind of vocational element into every piece of coursework. You can bring in vocational from actually using external people from outside by using videos. I've even spoken to colleagues where what they've actually used is a factory that's on the internet, and it's a virtual factory, so there's no health and safety required there. By teachers actually creating their own vocational image of each particular coursework, then you don't actually need to go out of school unless you really wanted to.
Right, guys. Hanson is a school with Enterprise Pathfinder status, so it must develop creative ways of working with other schools, business and community partners. As part of this, Ruth developed a series of lessons around a real-world project. Her Year 11 students are monitoring and recording a selection of plants to find which is best for improving air quality in homes or offices. The results will help determine which plants are developed commercially.
And we've got here 3 particular different plants that we've been advised to use that would improve air quality. Now, the preliminary work that we're doing at the minute with this particular group is actually looking to see which of these plants is most sustainable and which one is going to grow the most in the time period we've been looking at.
Baby Bio helps plants to grow because it is a type of fertiliser.
Potassium, this plays a part in many important regularity roles in the plant.
The main thing is it's very real to the students. The students know all the background, so they've done research prior to starting about how these particular plants might improve air quality. What kind of things did you measure that we need to be mentioning in this piece of work?
How tall it was and how much it weighed.
Well done. The students have really enjoyed doing it because of that hands-on approach. They actually understand about the plants. Although the course is vocational, a lot of people would think of that as actually going out of the classroom. We can actually bring this project into the classroom and into the whole school, really.
So Ruth has successfully brought work into the classroom, but her second solution is to tackle her vocational knowledge Open Industry is a nationwide charity that arranges visits for teachers to workplaces. Through them, Ruth visits a Rank Hovis wheat milling factory to see science in action, talk to scientists, and crucially, pick up ideas for a Year 10 assignment she's planning.
Within the vocational course, the major problem we have had is taking the students out of school, and one of the things is the actual number of students we have doing the course. At present we've got 50 students in each year group which actually do the course, and next year that will go up to 100 students.
It's important for teachers to go out into the real world of work so that they can deliver the syllabus and make it come alive. There's great benefit in getting just the teachers out into the real workplace, because then they're able to describe with real authority what goes on in the real world.
The burettes that's been used here is something that they are going to have to use on this course. Yeah. So how many tonnes would you say that you produce a day to be taken out?
It's 300 tonne a week.
And with Year 10, they do need to complete an assignment which actually includes safety in the workplace. We need to look at fire prevention and also risks and hazards to be able to identify the different symbols, what those symbols mean and why they would be positioned in certain places. Just this area here, for example, would create, quite a bit of interest for the students, because obviously we've got all the different signs that we could look at. You've got your ear protection one here, fire escape. Looking at that, I mean, this whole area here, looking around the walls, would be, excellent for use within that particular assignment. Obviously, from going round Rank Hovis, we're able to find a lot of those different symbols in that particular workplace, so I can incorporate it into my introducing lesson. It's a sort of starting point for them to build upon, ready for the rest of the assignment. To try and actually get them thinking, I've got quite a few hazard signs which I'm actually going to put onto the board at the beginning. Where do you think you might find one of these signs, and what do you think that sign is there for? What we're then going to do is go into the lesson and talk about those hazards and signs and symbols in the workplace, but also try and link it through into what you might find in a science classroom. So, for example, in the room we've got a fire blanket. It sort of gave me a better idea of that kind of workplace, sort of more of a factory situation. So I can actually bring in a lot more of the hazards and symbols I've seen and discuss it with the students with a good knowledge, because I know that now I've actually been there and experienced what it is like. So I'm wearing the hairnet. There's massive big machines. What else might I have to wear, or the people who work there have to wear? Yes?
Like a long white coat.
Right, very good. Like a long white coat. Why do they have to wear a long white coat?
It's to stop your clothes getting into machines, or getting, like, if you've got something on your clothes, into the food. And
right, both of those answers are right, yes. So to actually make sure none of my clothing actually gets onto the feed. The first part of the assignment actually includes the students drawing out a plan of the science lab and then explain the positioning of the science lab to include emergency exits for fire and everything like that. I need to remember to include my fire door. And what might I need to remember on this particular side of the room here? Windows, definitely. I need to put those in as well. The more marks they're going to get is for the explanation, not just, oh, the eye wash is at the front of the room. We're looking for them to say it's at the front of the room. It's actually situated by a tap because of this reason.
Ofsted's 2004 report accepted that more guidance is needed for giving pupils hands-on vocational experience. But it points out that teaching of the new vocational GCSEs is not as effective as other Key Stage 4 subjects. It said that one of the biggest problems was a lack of preparation time for teachers. At Hanson School, Ruth's prioritised planning.
For the working safely.
The workload in terms of setting it up is easily manageable if you're given time to actually do it. So I think the main thing with schools that we're thinking of setting up is to actually put a day aside, an inset day, where teachers would actually have the time to go through and plan exactly what each piece of coursework was going to include and how they could incorporate the highest marks within each of those pieces of coursework. One of the major problems I could foresee might actually be with the marking of the coursework. Staff have to take on quite a big role here because over the year there is 14 pieces of work, and we need to make sure within our school it's actually shared out between the different members of staff, so we're all marking a similar amount of work.
She's just not put enough into it. So again, I think she could have done an awful lot better on that.
She's for A anyway, hasn't she? So.
With so much coursework, effective administration is key. Ruth's department has devised a marking system which allows underperforming pupils to be spotted quickly and to be offered targeted support and guidance.
It's the scientific knowledge that he hasn't actually...
It's also very important that somebody's keeping a track of what particular marks the students have got as they progress through the year and how we can improve those results. So we have a system that's been developed where we have a piece of paper that's recording every single student's marks for each piece of work. We can then actually look at which students haven't completed the work. Are there certain areas where work has been started but not fully completed? Is there a piece of work totally missing? Or is there some work that the students completed but the member of staff hasn't actually marked and put the grades onto yet?
Yeah.
And that could bring him down from
quite
his C's achieved in
significantly,
the exam,
definitely.
to the D.
Yeah, well, you lose a sixth of your total for each piece that's missing, and he hasn't got an E mark either, so he's going to have to work on that one as well.
For borderline students with the Applied Science course, it is extremely good in terms of that we can improve the grade with the coursework. So if the students achieved grade D when they actually did the exam, if they do good quality coursework, they can improve that to a grade C or a B.
As the marks from coursework form such a large part of the final grade, students have the chance to improve their marks by resubmitting work. And at Hanson School, Ruth has found pupils more than keen to do this, even in holiday time.
All the way through the holidays.
Well, it's first day of the Easter holidays, and what we've done is we've got 4 members of staff to come in, and we've got all the Applied Science students, and I've just picked up the coursework here. So we're going to go down with the coursework, meet up with the students and explain how they can improve it, which areas need improving, and then we'll spend the rest of the day working on improving coursework so they can improve the grades.
Right, we didn't weigh it, did we?
No.
So that was a weakness in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we could weigh it. Yeah, so that's an improvement, isn't it? Students are very happy to give up today to actually come in and do some work in the Easter holidays because they can see an advantage in it to themselves. Where the marks are not as good as the students would like them to be, they can see an advantage in giving up their time to actually push their marks up, and because the coursework is such a big chunk of the whole course, it does make a very significant difference. A few marks here and there does actually make an overall difference to their final grade. Okay, so what things worked really well and what things didn't work really well? A lot of centres do worry about the links outside of school, and if they haven't got many, it's one of the reasons why they are concerned about the applied science, that they think that this course could only be taught with lots and lots of links. That's really not something that centres should be too worried about. There are ways around it. There's no necessity to be taking students out on visits every week or every other week in order to make it vocational. You can make it vocational in lots of different ways. There are certainly plenty of people out there from industry who are very keen to come into schools and develop links with schools.
Most of the students enjoy it. Because of that, the teachers are enjoying teaching it as well, and I think it's been extremely successful in terms of improving the results within the school.